Hey there folks, Sparrows here, coach of the New England Eeveelutions, and welcome to week 3 of the Eon World Trophy Season 3. This week we're up against Coach AutoMatthic and his Nijmegen Nuzleafs. This is another post-com, unfortunately, just because I am still on vacation. I just got back, but it was easier to record post-com instead of doing a whole setup while I was out across the country. So yeah, this unfortunately is a post-com, but next week we'll be getting back into our live comms. So I apologize about that, and hopefully we'll make it quick and fun. So, real quick team builder, he has at his disposal Galarian, Darmanitan, Gengar, Rotom Wash, Gardevoir, Pangoro, Talonflame, Serena, Registeel, Golurk, Munchlax, and Morgrem. If I had to pick 6 from him, I think Darmanitan, Gengar, Rotom Wash, and Registeel are all definitely going to be guaranteed brings for him. And then with the Gardevoir, Pangoro, Talonflame, and Serena all being possible other brings for him. So those would be my picks for what he's bringing. That's what I sort of prepped for. I prepped mostly, I'm not gonna lie, most of my prep work, I spent about an hour prepping. Most of my prep work was to defend from a Galarian, choice banded Galarian Darmanitan, because his speed tiers versus my speed tiers, he's gonna wanna just pack full power, and that's sort of what I prepped for. And I wasn't too wrong, actually, when we get into the match. So quickly on our team, we got 2 cool things we're bringing this week. We're bringing a Blunder Policy Melmetal, which if we miss a dynamic punch, pop that Blunder Policy. We are outspeeding everything on his team, including Talonflame, as long as he's speed creeping for us, which I assume he will be doing. And then we also have a Choice Scarf Thwackey, which does real heavy damage. I'm super excited to show this thing off in this battle, because yeah, Thwackey Oko is a lot of things. I'm loving just these low tier mons this season so far. I guess that says a lot about my draft for my higher tier mons, but the trades are coming in soon. The Clefable that we have is built for Darmanitan. It is max defensive and running Unaware in case he wants to Belly Drum up. We have the T-Wave to slow him down. I was thinking about maybe running Counter, but I decided let's just slow it down and then we can deal with whatever else he wants to bring with T-Wave, and, you know, hopefully slow his team so that we don't have to rely entirely on the Blunder Policy and the Choice Scarf. The other lead that we have, Clefable's one lead, the other possible lead that we have is, for whatever reason, if he doesn't want to bring Registeel, which I assume he will, but if he doesn't want to bring a Registeel, I want to lead with Vikavolt, because Agility, Thunder, Energy Ball, Bug Buzz kind of takes care of his whole team for the most part. And the plan around Vikavolt is just to punch a hole into his team so that we can then clean up with the Melmetal and the Thwackey. Then we also are bringing a Expert Belt Seismitoad that will just be there to swap in on things that Seismitoad is resistant to and just deal some damage along the way. And then we have a Regenerator Choice Specs Reuniclus, which is there for the Registeel so that we can trick our Choice Specs onto it so it doesn't set up on us too badly, and then we can start throwing Focus Blasts on it, and then hopefully some Psyshocks and the Energy Ball will catch off guard the Rotom. So that was my prep for the match. Now let's get into the actual match. All right, so we are getting into this match. This actually was our second time setting everything up because my Joy-Con drifted, and we accidentally only led with one Pokemon in the first time we battled. But his lead is going to be Gardevoir, and my lead is going to be Clefable here. Clefable was my initial lead. Oh, why are you not? There we go. Please load. My computer just froze for a second. We should be good now. And there's Matt. Here we go. Yep, so there's the Gardevoir that he said he was going to lead with, or he did lead with the first time, and here's my Clefable. I don't know why the Marshmalloon, is that not enough characters? Interesting. Anyways, I'm looking at my the board right now, and I think it's a good opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks. Yeah, I think Stealth Rocks is the way to go here. I was also considering maybe T-Waving on a switch, but I want to see what his Gardevoir is going to be doing, and he actually opts to swap it out into his Registeel, which makes sense considering, you know, Steel is strong against Fairy. So I do get up my rocks, and I'm actually expecting him to get up his rocks here, but I want to take this as an opportunity to maybe get in Vero and then possibly get a trick off. So we pull back Marshmallow, we send out our Reuniclus, and he does, I believe, what we were expecting, and yep, there's the rocks. So he does set up his rocks, so there is rocks on both sides of the team, both sides of the field rather, and there is no defog on my part, which is fine. I do want to get a trick off on this thing, and hopefully he doesn't swap into Gengar here, but I have a feeling that he might be afraid of the Psyshock. So he did opt to actually bring the Golurk instead. So he sends in his Golurk, and this is not bad. This is a good trick target. So we're gonna trick the choice specs onto his Golurk, kind of nullifying what he can do with it. And then we get the Colbur Berry, which is not bad either because we are super weak to dark type attacks, although I don't think he has any dark type attacks on his side. So we're gonna swap here into our defensive wall, expecting him to go for something like Poltergeist. And he does in fact go for Poltergeist, there it is. And he gets to scout our leftovers. He is no guard, I believe. It's such a cool animation. So we take some damage, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And honestly, if we wanted to, we could stall this thing out with Soft Boiled, which I think I am going to Soft Boiled here. I am. So I just want to scout what he's going to do with Soft Boiled, and he goes back out into his wall, which is a little bit annoying. He does start taking some rocks damage though. So there we go, we heal up. Boop, 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 back to 201. And he goes boop, 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 back to full, I believe. Yeah, so rocks don't do much, but we do see he's running stealth. So I'm considering swapping, but I actually think going for a knockoff and getting rid of these leftovers is pretty big for us. He attacks what's in front of him, so good on him. We are able to survive because we are just so fat, and we do knock off the lefties. What is the, I'm actually kind of curious how much PP Heavy Slam is, because maybe we could have stalled them out. I am going to switch into Hop Pop, because Hop Pop resists the Heavy Slam, and then we can hit it with either a Drain Punch or an Earthquake. Although, let's see, I'm really curious now. Registeel. Heavy Slam is 16, okay, so we couldn't really stall that out too badly. He does Heavy Slam us, it doesn't do nearly any damage. So we are going to go, I was debating, do I want to go for EQ, expecting him to maybe bring out his Rotom as his sort of physical wall, or do we want to go for Drain Punch? Or do we want to go for Drain Punch expecting the Rotom, or do we want to go for Earthquake? I do opt to go for Drain Punch here, thinking if he swaps into Rotom, at least we'll get some health back. And he actually swaps into his Gardevoir, which is probably what's carrying his Energy Ball on his team, if I had to guess. Knowing what has Energy Ball and Grass Knot is important when you have Seismitoad on your team, folks. So we go for the Drain Punch. We get some health back, not a lot, you know, we didn't really do that much damage, but we get some health back. And we're gonna swap out because I don't want to take a Energy Ball, and we are not gonna outspeed this thing. So we're gonna go into almost Vanguard, but I actually opt to go back into Vero just to take the hit and then be able to swap out and regenerate it out. Because I don't think he's going to go for Shadow Ball. And he goes for Energy Ball. That's what we expected. And we take it pretty well. Vero, it does have decent special defense if I'm... Actually, I am not certain. I didn't save this team at all. As I said, I was kind of building it quick and off the cuff. So I'm debating what he's going to go into here. Do I actually go for Energy Ball? I'm hovering over it. I don't think I do. Do we go for Energy Ball? I think I go for Energy. Yeah, I do. It's the only thing that can actually hit Gardevoir that this Reuniclus has. He is able to go back into his Registeel, so it's not going to take much damage from this Energy Ball. Yep, not very effective, barely anything. We are going to go for a Focus Blast. This should do around 60% if I'm... Yeah, this does around 60. He is faster. We go for the Focus Blast and we miss. So we're going to have to swap it back into Hot Pop. That's a little bit unfortunate because I would like more damage on this thing. You know, more damage the better. It's not the end of the world, but getting a miss is never my favorite thing. So we do swap into Hot Pop, doing the same sort of exchange. He seems to be playing the same mons the same way as the same answers. So we're gonna take the Heavy Slam here on Hot Pop, and then it's not doing much. And we're just gonna drop a EQ because I don't think he's going to bring out the Gardevoir. I do hover over Poison Jab for a little bit, but I just decide why do you want a Poison Jab? Just go for EQ. Just go for EQ. He doesn't have the Serena, which is primarily what that Poison Jab is for. And there's Serenity. It's taking some stones, and she's not gonna like this. He does see that I'm Water Absorb, which I think is pretty obvious since we don't have the Pelipper. This thing does wall the Rotom pretty well, so I do want to keep this thing healthy for the Rotom. Communicating. But actually, I think I actually let Seismitoad go down here just because I ultimately... He's going to bring in his Gengar, I believe. He's making the decision. Yeah, so I believe what happens here is he brings in his Gengar, and I decided... Well, if he goes for Substitute, I won't be able to take him down. If he substitutes Nasty Plots, he'll win the game. So I opt to leave our Seismitoad in, and he gets the... So there's Gengar. So he does get the Revenge Kill, and I will say... Yeah, I mean, if he substituted, then it would have been game over. So it's a hard play to make. But yeah, it's really unfortunate because the Seismitoad would help so well with his Rotom. And now we're going to find alternate ways to sort of handle his Rotom. We can't defensively handle it, but we still have the Thwackey, and we still have the Vikavolt that will be able to deal with it. I go into Barker here, and this scenario right here is making me wish that I, instead of Drain Punch, I packed the good old Grassy Glide, because that way at least I could like hide the Scarf a little bit better, because I believe Grassy Glide also scares out this Gengar, even though it's not a kill within this range. And I end up going, I believe, just for this straight knockoff, hoping that he stays in. He does swap out, and I wish I went for a U-turn here. But yeah, there's the U-turn. Yeah, I'm gonna go for knockoff. I think U-turn would have also been a better play too, just because the swap with, just bringing Thwackey straight in. Maybe a banded Grassy Glide would scare out his Gengar, which is probably what he was afraid of. We just go for knockoff, and we do hit his his what's it called, this Registeel, but he doesn't have his guy anymore, so it's not very super useful. I do wish we got a free swap into something else. We are going to go into Vero, I believe. Yeah, losing Hot Pop definitely hurts, and yeah, this is a hard decision to make. What do I want to potentially sack off? And I kind of decided, let's go into, I decided to go to Handy Dandy. Yeah, so I want to go into something that can take a hit from the Registeel. So we're going into Handy Dandy here. This makes sense. Okay. I want to preserve Handy Dandy for as long as I can with his health. So that's why I'm so hesitant to go into Melmetal. But we do have the Grassy Terrain up, so that is able to heal us a little bit. I'm expecting him to swap here, so we're gonna make a double. We're gonna go back into Barker. I'm guessing, you know, his answer to my Melmetal is his very, very special Rotom. Yeah. So we make our swap in the Barker. He makes his swap into Washington, and there we go. So we got to take care of this thing. He is most likely going to swap again. And do I go for U-turn or Woodhammer here? Yeah, U-turn. So this is the play I should have made against the Gengar. I think it would have probably helped hide the Scarf a little bit better. But I think he's starting to see that, especially since I just U-turned out, I think he thinks I'm choiced. Because why wouldn't I just U-turn out on this thing prior? So now that I'm getting a free swap, I'm going to just go into Vero. If I can get a Focus Blast off on this thing, it will. Oh, no, maybe not after recovery, but we should be able to do a solid amount of damage. So I'm thinking, okay, if we Focus Blast this thing, we don't have to worry about it anymore. But I think the Focus Blast is kind of obvious, and I ultimately decided to go Energy Ball, expecting him to bring out his Golurk. Where are you gonna go? Yeah, so I'm thinking right here, I'm thinking what does he feel like he's gonna go for? And honestly, I probably should just continue to go for a Heavy Slam or Focus Blast, just because he has not done anything. He hasn't swapped out on Reuniclus with this thing. We do a little bit more damage thanks to the Grassy Terrain, which is nice. But now Vero is in a position where we have to sack it off. And I am on the back foot here. But this game is far from over, and actually I think the most enjoyable part of it is coming up. So yeah, I'm deciding, okay, we're gonna have to sack Vero here. I could pull it out, but then it's just prolonging the same. Oh, do I do it? 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 I think I keep Vero in here. Yeah. And we're just gonna go for a Focus Blast in case he doesn't Heavy Slam or whatever. Yep, there's the Heavy Slam. It hurts. We die. Fainted. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, Barker can technically, we don't have to deal with the Talonflame, which is nice. So Barker can technically run through his team if we just use Handy Dandy to start punching an early hole on him. So I'm actually going to start. I figured, let's just go for it. Let's just go for the Blunder policy here. We need to do something drastic in this situation to get the momentum back on our side. So I bring in Handy Dandy, and we are going to go for the Dynamic Punch. If it hits, we kill. If it doesn't hit, we got Blunder policy, and we're going to start doing real damage to him. So we do connect, which is probably for the better, because then we're not popping our Blunder policy so early, and we can play around his Rotom a little bit better, because his Rotom is a pain in the ass. And it also is Rocky Helmet spoilers, but that's to be expected. Rocky Helmet always comes when you got Melmetal on your team. Trick is to find that Rocky Helmet and knock it off, and then you're free to double Iron Bash. So here he's realizing that I am Blunder Policy Melmetal. And I'm a little bit lucky with that. I do feel like I would have preferred to have hit the Focus Blast there than the Blunder, than the Dynamic Punch there, but you know. He brings out his Darmanitan, which instantly tells me that he's just going to go straight for a big fat Flare Blitz. And I don't want to take that. We aren't fast enough yet. We don't have our Blunder Policy rocking and rolling, so we're gonna sack our Vikavolt, get some recoil damage off on this, and then we can scare him out with our Thwackey. So there goes the Flare Blitz. So hot, so ferocious. There goes Vikavolt. I think in hindsight I probably should have brought Vikavolt in against the Gardevoir early on, and then we could have done some damage that way. But what you gonna do about it? We go into Barker and we say hello with our Grassy Surge. Now, I believe we scare him out with anything that we have, really. Grassy Glide. This is an opportunity where Grassy Glide also I wish we had, because Grassy Glide scares out Chill Out. Grassy Glide scares pretty much everything I think he has left on his team now. But we have to go for Wood Hammer. So he's going to swap out and he's going to sack his Golurk here. And there's Golurk, and we are going to hit you with the Wood Hammer. Here it is. Here comes the Wood Hammer. Oh, pop, pop, boom. So there he goes. Yeah, Drain Punch was also, I also brought Drain Punch just to mitigate some of this Wood Hammer recoil, because it is hard to deal with. And then he brings in Slim Shady, and I'm really thinking if we go for Wood Hammer, we might be able to kill. But Wood Hammer here is, it's a roll to kill, and it's a very slim margin. I think it might be something like 10% or something like that, 8%. So I'm actually going to have to sack here. So we're gonna sack Marshmallow. But the game is not over. So essentially what we have to do here is we have to get some kills with Thwackey, and then put our Melmetal in a position where we can get off the weakness, the Blunder Policy. If the Blunder Policy pops, we can win this match. It's the percentage changes from us winning from like 50% to like 70-80%, I think. Don't quote me on that because I didn't actually do the math. I kind of eyeballed it. But like the amount of luck would be on our side if we can get the Blunder Policy off. So we just need to get our Blunder Policy off. But in order to do that, we have to scare out his Gengar, and he's gonna sack his Darmanitan here as we go for knockoff. So this is perfect. I want to hit knockoff on his Rotom because I do want to get the Rocky Helmet off on him. or whatever item he has, but it's a Rocky helmet. We know it's a Rocky helmet. And we're gonna, boom, knock off his Rocky helmet. And he actually goes for Volt Switch, and we live this, surprisingly. That's like wild to me, how we survived that. We're not Eeveelutions, we're just a little, we got a little bit of special investment, but not too much. Maybe 12 at most. So I really wasn't expecting Barter to survive that, but he does. And we are in a good position here. If he stays in with Slim Shady, we win. Because if he stays in with Slim Shady, we knock off, and we swap into Melmetal on the Rotom, just so we can get our Woodhammer off on the Rotom. But he does make the swap back. We do get a knockoff there, which isn't bad. And we lose our grassy terrain. But going for more knockoffs puts him in a advantageous position for us. So we go for another knockoff, because we just need to miss a Dynamic Punch and then hit with a Double Iron Bash. That's pretty much the game right now. So we lose Barker, and now it's all up to the Blunder policy poppin'. We should be able to survive a Hydro Pump if we take a Hydro Pump at 177. So really we just need Blunder policy to miss. Or Dynamic Punch to miss. Dynamic Punch misses, we were able to outspeed Gengar and take it down. If not, I think it goes to a roll for a Focus Blast. So the question is he going to go into Gengar here while we go Dynamic Punch? And then I was like, oh, but if he goes into Gengar and we go on Dynamic Punch, then we miss anyways and we get our Blunder policy off. So this is a perfect opportunity. He does have Pain Split, which is super unfortunate, because that means we have to wear this thing down again. But we do land the Dynamic Punch, not what I was hoping, but that does a lot of damage to the Rotom. And now odds are still in our favor, because now he's got a 50-50% chance of hitting himself in Confusion, and then also on top of that he has to land his Hydro Pump to kill. So if he hits himself in Confusion here, nope, and he goes for Hydro Pump and he connects. So we do get unlucky, but if he missed his Hydro Pump or he hit himself in Confusion and then we missed our Dynamic Punch, we would have won, just because we could flinch him out with our our, it's not Serene Grace, but it's our Double Iron Bash has 60% chance to flinch. So like the odds just like jump drastically to our favor if we got the Blunder policy off. But of course, you know, Blunder policy doesn't always, it's a gamble, and somehow I lost the gamble by connecting the hits, which is pretty funny. But that's Blunder policy for you. It was a good match with Matt. I really enjoyed this match. I wish we got to show off Blunder policy Melmetal, just because, oh, the thumbnail. But it is what it is. Next week we are up against, let's take a look real quick. Next week we are up against, where are you at? The Milwaukee Metachamps. And that will be going up next Thursday, and it will be live. So I will see you guys then. Take care.